It looks
Yeah, good
awesome
to see you
so far.
again. So yeah,
Good to
it's
see you again too.
yeah, these days is I'm kind of like there's so many new things going on, and I think we're live, right? So we should
Yeah,
not
yeah,
stop
absolutely.
small chat.
Welcome back.
Where is it, Dion? Where is your crop suit? I'm expecting you have your awesome.
No, well, I originally I wanted to be on camera today, but like I've been kind of sick, to be honest with you.
Sorry to hear.
Yeah, like for whatever reason, to be honest, I've really been feeling kind of crabby, So, we'll kind of see how everything kind of keeps rolling, But welcome back to your favorite company, Dude, here with Robert the Mao. He just got through releasing the brand new toolkit, and we were going to talk about the toolkit today. I saw a variety of different things on there, including some sort of coding for JavaScript, also for Linux. I kind of want to go over that in a little bit, but let's go over the fun stuff. But before we go a little bit further, let's welcome our guest, the Force Society, and also Robert Mao from ArcBlock. The Force Society has been doing very, very awesome videos on tutorials on how to utilize Blocklet. So definitely check them out on YouTube. If you guys haven't found Robert Mao's Twitter account, I highly suggest you take a look at the toolkit he just released. What have you guys been up to? Give me, I'm feeling a little bit crabby today. So you guys, catch me up. What have you guys been up to?
What is it? I'll go first real quick because I have a few things to say, or a less amount to say, but if anything, just taking it day by day, trying to pump out whatever content I can, and just excited to be a part of this ecosystem, and curious to see what Robert has to show us today. Cool,
amazing. Yeah, since we released the AI kit, I found myself is like the days going so fast. I just it's already like Friday again, because I just remember last Friday. But there's so many things going on, and so today actually we just put the latest AI kit, one of the tools that built with AI kit, we call it AI Assistant. This is a tool for the consumers, and from that AI Assistant, you will see a bunch of toolkit, right? So the first one that we released is just a tweet helper to help you write the tweet. But now with this AI Assistant, tweet helper is just one of them. You can use them for all kind of different things, including some useless, just for fun tools. For example, the girl generators, right? You can describe, and what kind is she tall? Is she have a long hair? Is it look Asian look? And then the AI going to draw a picture for you. It's not that great yet. It's not kind of as good as I shared in the tweet at this moment, but it gives you some idea what the AI kit eventually going to, looks like. And
today I made a few different girls myself. Actually, 3 AI girlfriends I made. And I noticed I had to play with it a little bit. You had to, when you're trying to describe the female that you're trying to get the AI to generate, you have to put in the word, and then you put a comma if you're going to add additional features to the woman. And I did notice that, like, what was funny was I was actually trying to go based off of like American women weight, and I was thinking like I was going to get like a skinny woman when I put like 110 pounds, 120 pounds. But the AI generation, actually generated like a pretty big chick, I don't know if I put curvy, well, when I think of curvy, I was thinking like, busty or something, but she was too curvy. So after playing with it and making sure that according to the AI, she was like 90 to 100 pounds, that's when she looked kind of pretty good. I made 3 girlfriends on it. I also played with the rapper one where it kind of makes the song. Like, it's just cool that you could utilize these different toolkits for different use cases. And a lot of people don't understand, why you would use these things, because, I've gotten into a few different debates where somebody will bring up ArcBlock or a different company utilizing AI. And they're like, oh no, they're not AI. They're only utilizing the tool AI. I'm like, well, yeah, that's the point. You're supposed to utilize the AI and then you connect it to what you already have to enhance the features or enhance the services or even make the products or tools easier to use. You know, that's the whole point of ArcBlock. When you have a platform that allows somebody that has zero coding experience to make things that are theirs, you know, from scratch, you know, no code, low code, make whatever you want and have zero coding experience, that's going to usher in a brand new wave of different types of developers. You know, I know a lot of people are here to hear about what interests investors, and that's great, but what's going to interest investors is a lot of different developers building on this platform because of how easy it is to do it. I mean, I've taken a look at the Force Society's videos on just some of the tutorials just to kind of learn how to do some of these things. I was at the club the other night, and you know, in between lap dances, I swear on everything, I literally made 4 different odd dragons. So I made a bunch of NFTs. We sold a bunch of them, and shout out to Ace Killjoy, because I wore this suit because of you. You were the only guy that did the mint, okay? But, you know, shout out to Dead Punk, our artist. You know, Dead Punk is one of our artists. He actually made me this particular, this thing right here, the Duke Nukem portrait. And I always love the way he did his art. He's very consistent. And, you know, I told him like, hey, let's partner together. You make some dragons and, you know, I'll NFT them. And at first, you know, we had like some little deal to go together with it. But you know what? After I saw how many dragons got sold, I was like, you know what? I want to support our community members and their talents. So we ended up sending him the full proceeds from the Odd Dragon to support him and his artwork. So shout out to Dead Punk. If you're watching this, bro, it's going to be awesome to get more people involved to, you know, just build things, you know?
Yeah, cool. So this is actually last time in the last interview, I remember that we discussed about this because the recent AI technology breakthrough is quite meaningful for the general public to use AI. Right before that breakthrough, the AI, it sounds like a very high tech or only belongs to those people who are scientists or those kind of so-called machine learning experts. But with the breakthrough from the open AI, that basically means AI, to build the AI, there's 2 parts. One part, they are the scientists who build a better engine and a better algorithm, and providing the better foundational service for the AI. So those are the battlefield for like OpenAI, Google, or Facebook if they want to do that, right? Or Microsoft. However, that opened up a huge and a way much bigger space for anybody, especially for the startups, for the people who know how to use AI in their daily work, right? So this is going to be massive because not everybody can afford or have the skills, have the resource to build the foundation of those AI. But once the AI just become like the water supply and the electricities, like the opportunity building all different kind of applications, all different those kind of appliance, like that is basically like there's a limitless, right? So our blog is positioning ourselves not building those kind of hardcore AI foundations. Instead, we build a layer that talk to many different kind of backend foundations. So for the developers and the end users, you no longer need to worry about, hey, should I use OpenAI? Should I use Google? Should I use Stable Diffusion? Should I use DAI? You know, you don't need to worry about all of those. All you need to do is deal with AI Kit, and then you can create amazing applications, creating amazing AI generated arts, and many cool things, right? So this is another part of the AI, which is how to use AI to create a lot more cool applications.
So, you know, can you tell us a little bit more? Like I played with a few of the different tools. I'd like to play with each and every one of them. Can you tell us more about the JavaScript one and also the Linux toolkit that was inside as the options? What could somebody use those for?
So the first batch of the tools of the AI assistant, we intentionally just released a few those kind of useless or funny tools. The two on that, the Linux simulators and the JavaScript simulators, they're just a kind of fun. It's not useful. It's useless, right? For example, if you have a JavaScript code, you want to execute it, what do you do? You just put that into a JavaScript running time, and you can see it, right? And but this is just a kind of like an experiment. Say, hey, imagine like it's like an interview, right? Somebody write a JavaScript code and ask you, what does this code output, right? So if you understand JavaScript, you are executing that code in your brain, and then you say, hey, this is the result, right? So this AI tool is, imagine this is like let the AI tell you, so what this code will output without actually run this JavaScript. This is one thing. For Linux simulator is basically like a similar thing that you tell this AI, here is a Linux command, and what it will output, what it would do, right? So this is just like a two demo or two toys for people to play around.
Well, I still think, Robert, you in your past, you're ex Microsoft elite member. You used to be part of the research team of Fuse. I feel like because you're so ahead in the future when it comes to that type of development, you don't give yourself enough credit, because I still feel like those, even though that this is more of a demo, it's still more explosive than what it is, even at a basic level, because this is still showing a lot of people what this could do. If you attach blocklet tools with AI, and let's say you code it in a particular way to do other things, like write a smart contract or whatever the case, that's the key, and that's the whole point of these demos, to really show like how much more what the capabilities are, right?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, you know what? Our engineers are already putting the AI in the real work to writing code. So the latest NFT marketplace, there's a new filters on the left. If you click on the filter button on the left, we're going to have a new filter interface. So that interface is not written by one of our engineers. That interface is written by AI. Wow. So one of our engineers tried to experiment and say, hey, what if we let the AI, I describe that to the AI, and let the AI generate the code and see if it can use. It turned out to be pretty useful. And from what he said if he want to coding that part of the filter, it probably typically takes him about like 6 hours, around 6 hours, which is a day's work. But he use the AI tools, and he just write a prompt to let the AI write it. He get it done within 1 hour, right?
Wow.
And we are experimenting to use AI to create a more, user interface part internally. If that works well, that will make our productivity way much better. And potentially we can also turn that into a blocklet tools, right? Like for example, right now we have a command line called create a blocklet. The developer, they just type like one command line, say create blocklet, and then that will going to generate a scaffold of the blocklet for the developer, so they don't need to hook up at the whole things. But that is just a scaffold. It does nothing. It's just everybody, when they create a blocklet, they just have a select from a few options. They get an empty blocklet and doing nothing. But imagine if we can correctly use the AI tools to have this kind of a AI blocklet creation. Then the developers can just describe, say, hey, I want a blocklet that has a social media interface and integrated with the NFT maker, integrated with discussion board, something like that. Once they describe this, boom, the whole blocklet with this kind of basic feature is there already, right? So then the developer just to focus on a few very unique things. AI cannot do everything for you, as I said, right? It's just a tool. But the AI help you to do most of those repeatable works, or those work that somebody has already done for you. They just make those kind of configuration and pull everything together for you. I think that if this is eventually this become a reality, that will kind of make our developer community even easier and faster to build applications.
I mean, you're definitely 10xing the production rate of dApps. To speak further on that, is the fact that you said that your developer shaved about 5 hours off of the production rate, that's astounding, because time is money, right? And when you're trying to create things, or let's say, I was actually talking to one of our members today about bandwidth. I'm only one person. My bandwidth only goes so far. So when I get to utilize, AI to do things for me in such a way where it's like, I don't have to put as much work into it, or maybe I don't need to get this person or get that person. I could literally just, put everything together and then just get things rolling. You know what I mean? Instead of spending 6 hours, I'm going to spend 1 hour, creating something. I think that's a huge thing right there.
Same.
Now, I saw one of your tweets the other day where you were saying that this year you're going to focus on expanding the ecosystem. That's pretty exciting. I know you have a lot of different people you're working with. I know you work with us here and there sometimes. I mean, I love working with you guys. I think you guys are awesome. And, here on this show, we'd love, just interacting with different communities and interacting with different projects and technologies. And, what other things do you have in the pipeline, or what other ecosystems are you looking to expand? Are there particular projects that you would take a lot more interest in over others, or you're kind of like, hey, if you have an idea, bring it?
Yeah, so first of all, I think the ecosystem is really exciting, right? Just like one of the examples is like today's interview, right, with you and with Russell, and it's like amazing, like a combination, right? It's formed naturally, right? So like I wanted to creating this kind of a podcast, like at least like a half years ago. I've said a lot of things. I kind of bought the different gears and test my cameras. But I never did it. So, but
it's work. I mean, when you're busy building stuff, it's hard to do videos all the time because people want data so much more faster. I remember when I first started MYC, we only did video live streams. And after a while, we ended up getting banned. And, there was so many different things that we had went through to get to the point where we created OddApp and, our own software to decentralize ourselves or whatever. But the whole premise of, decentralizing into a forum type of format was to deliver the data faster. And live streams, they take a little bit more time, and some people, they don't have 30 minutes or an hour worth of an attention span. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's always tough to try to I mean, if you take a look on YouTube, a lot of the videos are only like 4 or 8 minutes. Like, and people are making investments off of that. I think it's crazy. I think that people should always do their own research and, really take interest and passion in what you're getting involved with. If you're holding a token or if you're building on an ecosystem, get involved with it because you like it. Don't get involved with something just because somebody else likes it, because you're not going to be a good holder. You're not going to be a good developer if you don't really care about the ecosystem or you don't really care about the project. So that's why on Twitter, I go over this conversation a lot where I'm like, guys, there's different companies I like and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like, I can't tell you what to like. You have to go and research all these different things, because put it this way, Robert, you remember when we first met, you were telling me about your different talents. You were like, I'm more of a developer. I like to build things. I'm not too good at this part, but I'm really good at building this, And it's the same thing with a company. Every company has different types of niches per person. Everyone has a different talent. So especially when you're investing or you're building something, you want to pick things that you really have an interest in, because that's what's going to keep the energy alive. You're going to get bored if you're just playing with things you don't really care about. So I always tell people to really, do their research on what they really like Not on what I like, but what they
Yeah,
like.
exactly. So that's what I exactly what I'm feel when I see Wassel's all of his videos, because I'm preparing, try to do some kind of tutorial myself. But after I see his video, I was blown away. I said, no, I should not do that, because his video is like 10x better than mine, right? Even if I can create one.
He's really good. I really like the way he does his videos. They're really like, I mean, what even got you started for Society? I mean, you just started blasting them out, and they're really good videos.
I totally appreciate it, guys. And to be honest, it's really what you were saying. It's been a while since I found a network, or I found a platform that I was so passionate about. I actually felt like I really wanted to put out information. On top of that, it didn't seem like there was much information already moving around. Like, I've seen plenty of the videos on ArcBlock's channel, but some of them are primarily Chinese. So I felt like it was maybe about time for me to try to contribute in the best way that I can. And I'm not necessarily a developer, but I can at least speak some decent English. So I thought, let's pump out some videos and let's get some content about ArcBlock to maybe the layman and to the average user, because I started to notice that ArcBlock has a real niche with the consumer. And with the products that they're building and creating, it's like blockchain and AI and everything else is finally reaching the specialization age. And kind of like when cinema became television, you can now have, instead of just, movies, all different kinds of TV shows. And it seems like when a product reaches its specialization phase, that's when it just starts to take off. And I was seeing ArcBlock do that really well. And it just got me bullish, got me excited. And I was like, I want to jump on this. I want to start creating content. I was inspired also by MYC, but that's generally what pushed me.
You made a website too. It came out really good. Like, you had so tell us about your website. Like, tell us like the inside of it. Like, I see the site. I see the you have video stream to it as well.
Yeah, definitely. So basically the website is kind of like my own homestead, kind of like what Robert Mao goes into. It's my own little, you could say, domain, or that's why I kind of call it Wassel's World, where if somebody was interested, they could kind of go to that website, see a discussion kit, maybe, mint an NFT of my own, a part of a collection and so forth. But when I started to see that unfold, it was like looking into the future almost. I was like, this is actually, excuse me. I was like, this is actually, as a consumer, what I've been looking for. And I think a lot more consumers are looking for that, and they just haven't realized it yet because they haven't seen it. And that's why I felt the need to, one, make a website, but then make videos showing other people how to do it and how easy it is. Because I've been completely unable to do anything in all of crypto besides buy and stake coins or put them in a liquidity pool. That is the most I've been able to do. And it was really exciting for the first time to do something beyond that.
Website, you have video stream coming from your website. Like, here's what I need everybody to understand about the way BlockBit works.
And that was all built entirely from ArcBlock. It's just the user friendliness of it all, and it's integrated into everything. So it looks like I've done a lot, but really I've done barely anything. I've just made the aesthetic.
Well, still, it looks complicated, but the fact that it came out, that's the point of ArcBlock, to make it easier. You know what I mean? For someone that doesn't have that know-how, to just be able to go and build something and go from 0 to 1, right? From 0 to having something. That's amazing. I really love that. Now, not only that, one thing I will describe it as, it reminds me of. It actually reminds me of back in the day when you used to have a MySpace, right? Like, when you had a MySpace, you were able to put all the stuff that you wanted right there on your page. You could code it and put all your decorations, and that's literally what you could do with ArcBlock, except you're not needing to sign in. You're not needing to put your credentials in it. Like, you literally got your wallet. You could launch your own, basically your own type of MySpace page, put all your, like, this is basically killing LinkedIn, killing,
it's killing everything. To me, it can kill everything.
Yeah, so MySpace is such a great name, right? So even though the MySpace is not actually your space, when they launched that, right? But with the decentralization technology, we're all going to have our own space that truly belongs to us, truly in our own control, and fully decentralized. And so that is a vision. That is actually the vision of a lot of people, like over 10 years ago. Now, the whole industry are moving forward to turn that into a reality. I believe ArcBlock's platform, ArcBlock's block-like technology is actually one of the pioneers to make this whole kind of a holy grail into the reality. This is what we're doing, and this is also, this is also the whole ecosystem. Kind of come back to your question. This is the whole, the whole goal for me to looking forward for those amazing eco partners like you are amazing on creating podcasts, kind of promoting things to help people understand ArcBlock, like Vaso, to creating 10x better video than me. So I also need to find amazing teams who are either create product, building community, all kind of things, because the ecosystem itself, it's not just developers, right? It's not just users, just developers. It's a lot of things, right? So especially when the AI, the reason why I'm really excited with the AI is AI Kit actually is a kind of like a Democrat for building applications, right? In the past, it's just the developers. Like if I'm a developer, I know how to write code. I basically like the first-class citizen in the computer world, right? And everybody else are coach class, right? However, with the AI, that basically means anybody who can have a natural language, who know how to talk to the AI in a correct way, you can basically take control of the whole computer system. So the AI, people who know AI is going to be probably replace some of the developers, some of the designers, which is really scary. Like the NFTs I created for the Magic gemstones, right? Those are not created by artists. It's created by myself. So the original idea was planning to airdrop during the show, but unfortunately, it's so popular that it's already run out before the show start.
That's
I know.
Awesome.
I wish my dragon sold out that fast. I mean, you're sold out crazy. I was like, man, this guy really has it going on,
I think one tip this is can share is one tip is I kind of thinking for the NFT, the uniqueness is a key, right? So your dragon, you have each of the set of the dragon, it looks identical. So I think that does not have enough uniqueness. Even the NFT has its own DID, but it's from the visual part, the user doesn't feel it's unique, right? So that's why we have that. Even without AI GC, we have that NFT studio. So NFT studio is basically a studio to help you create a layered way to create NFTs, right? If you have multiple different layers, each of the layers have multiple choices. And then imagine those kind of combinations can quickly create you many different variations of the artworks you want to create. And so the NFT studio basically is exactly designed for this, right? With the power of the AI GC, that makes the NFT studio even more powerful because you basically everybody can be an artist as long as you have the ideas.
Real quick, Robert, I just wanted to ask, so in the actual AI studio, there's an art generator. That's kind of like what you're saying, like your own little mid-journey per se?
So imagine like we're partnership with different AI companies. And so you can imagine, for example, right now you can use Midjourney to create some kind of asset for the NFT studio, which is possible. However, you have to operate yourself in the Midjourney, and then you probably need to remove some background. You want to kind of blend them together. So that's today what you do. So with the AI Kit combination with the NFT Studio, you will see you're going to have new options. So right now in the NFT Studio, you can have an option to add the material. Like I add 100 different backgrounds, right? But with the AI Kit, you're going to have a new option. Say, hey, I'm not going to adding by uploading the background. I'm going to describe the background and let the AI generate this 100 for me, right? This is something. So this is not completely in the production yet. So that's why only I can create this. There's still kind of small issues, and but this is coming.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you're building something, especially software in general, if there's going to be little bugs and stuff like that as you start developing it and stuff like that. I'm very used to that at this point. But that's actually one of the issues that I kind of get stuck on when I'm trying to make different NFTs, where I could upload different versions of the NFT and then have it all in one collection. I'm still kind of rusty on that. I got to watch more of the Force Society videos or something.
I plan to drop a video here soon, so 100%.
Yeah, could you do a video on that? Because I keep I don't know why I keep messing up where I can't do it where I'm minting a collection and then I have all the different types of, styles, I keep doing it where it's just one image.
I was gonna just real quick ask, I had noticed in the what is it, like in the Blocklet launcher area that the DID spaces is now available. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, Robert? I was going to test it out and make a video, but I was just curious to hear more about it.
So the DID spaces is not ready yet. I guess you see that from the test store. We try to be very transparent. Everything that we test, we put that on the test store. So you can play around and see it, but it's not ready to prime at this moment.
Okay.
So the DID space, the concept of the DID space is the concept of DID space is kind of like a personal space for you to store things, and also, but it's not a storage. It's not just a storage, right? The way what we use it's a space, not a storage or not a computer, is kind of a more imagine like a space is like our room, right? So the room, apparently the room can be stored for something. But the room is definitely more than storage, right? It's a living space. It's something is live here. Like, for example, I have my fancy speakers here. I can listen to the music here. But it's my room is pretty empty, and I have some kind of IKEA things I have trouble to hang on my wall. So right now I removed my nice light, and but this is kind of like a space that you have a bunch of things that is personal, only belongs to you, right? So the blocklet is more like a computer or more like a program, right? It has a business logic, but each of those kind of blocklet, there's even you run somebody else blocklet, there's data. Those data just belongs to you, and you need those data to put in a secure place. Even your blocklets for someday, if for something happen, right? The computer is broken, or unfortunately get censored in some places, like your domain is lost, those kind of things. But you have a secured place that everything's there under your control. So this is basically where the DID space is coming in. So there is an organization I remember we once talked before called MyData. This is the European organization that is trying to promoting one of the concept that every single service should just store the data on the user's data space, not their silos, right? So this MyData organization is so ArcBlock is actually one of the members in the MyData organization, and data space is one of the important components that we build under the MyData principles, right? If anybody interested in the MyData movements, you can go to the mydata.org. You can see there's a declarations, there's a manifesto about what is the movement of the MyData, what is the vision of the whole MyData organization, try to drive the IT industry into, right? So the DID space, so that exactly matching our vision of our blog. So our blog, first we become one of the members. Second, we create a product that following and inspired by the MyData principles. And we also planning to apply for the MyData award this year. We already put up our applications to the MyData organization, and they're going to do a review on our product and our things to eventually to see if they can award us kind of like certified MyData operator. I don't know yet, and I'm going to show them the demo on March. So
I hope you win it.
Yeah, this space is going to have a beta version in March because we're going to show that to them anyway. But even this year, we're not that ready. If they think there's still something, we need to improve. We're going to do that next year, right? So I believe this is the future, and it's so happy that we find a small group of people in Europe. So they are already have been the pioneer for this for like over 10 years, and they already built something amazing. And I really feel happy that I find them, and we build something following that principle.
I'm gonna have to take a look at that. I've literally never looked at mydata.org ever. And I felt like I've looked at everything that has anything tied to ArcBlock.
I feel you.
I surprised Robert a lot when we first met, because when I first met Robert, he was like, "Who is this guy? How come he knows all these different things?" I even brought up that Levitate app that you did forever ago. I thought that was badass. And you know, another thing too, guys, you know, when you're doing your own research on different companies, you just learn so much about not only the company but also the CEO. I still, you know, and of course, when you're researching, it's a consistent educational pathway. You know, a lot of people right now, there's a lot of people right now, believe it or not, that think that they thought that ArcBlock was not a U.S. company. You know, ArcBlock is based in Seattle, Washington. They're part of the Cascadia Blockchain Council. Robert Mao's a steering member there as well. That's awesome data to know about. And also, what was the other one? Trust over IP, right? I've looked into that as well. And, you know, here's another thing a lot of people don't know. Believe it or not, you know, Robert Mao is actually a U.S. citizen. You know, a lot of people, it's crazy. They don't think so. He's a U.S. citizen.
yes, I'm a U.S. citizen, and I think this is a spirit of American dream, right? So no matter what kind of color, where you are originated from, and what kind of education background, what kind of religion you have, and here in the United States, we have the freedom of speech. We have a lot of freedoms, and we can achieve our dream, right, without worry about a lot of things. So yeah, so ArcBlock is. From another point of view, ArcBlock is an international company, right? So we are originally in the United States, and ArcBlock is a U.S. company, but we do have international presence. We do have international entities, and we have employees around the world. I think this is also American dream, right? We do not want to just be rich and be happy here. We want the whole world be as good and as happy as we do, right? So
exactly,
yeah.
You know, that's what's funny, because it's like, I talk to different Americans here, and they don't do as much research as they should, unfortunately, sometimes. And then they realize this, and they're like, "Oh wow, I had no idea." I'm like, "Yeah, did you know that Coinbase literally listed ArcBlock for free 3 days after the W3C gave them the DID recommendation?" I thought that was awesome. Just little fun features that I realized. One thing I do want to go over with you, because I don't think it's brought up enough, because a lot of times in the crypto sector, sometimes it could be somewhat of a popularity contest versus the technology contest. And one of the biggest things that I don't think a lot of people realize is how fast ArcBlock is. It has 100,000 TPS. You could code in any language. You guys were at some point direct competitors with Cosmos and DOT. DOT doesn't run that type of TPS. Cosmos doesn't run that type of TPS. Solana doesn't run that type of TPS. And a lot of companies actually migrated to Solana because they needed faster TPS. Well, ArcBlock has 100,000 and it's blockchain agnostic. There's a lot of different things that I feel like I would honestly love to start focusing on side-by-side comparisons for the technology. So that way people could understand the performance, like the back-end performance, because we know the tools, but what can you tell me, or like, let's say if you were to compare ArcBlock, or if you were to give us some performance stats.
Yeah, so as an engineer, as an engineering background, I always want to be very accurate. And so I will first going to correct a few things that you just talked.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so ArcBlock's blockchain, our goal is going to be over 100,000 TPS. But right now, the current ArcBlock blockchain that people are using right now is just a few thousands of the TPS at this moment. It's about the same level, right? But we have the goal to make that faster, and we believe that we're going to be able to achieve it, right? The other things, sometimes if you compare with ArcBlock, with like Solana, with other blockchain, say, hey, whose TPS is higher or lower, which is not a fair compare, because it's not apple to the orange compare. So ArcBlock's blockchain is very much focused on the billing and operation support, right? So ArcBlock's blockchain is not a general purpose blockchain like Solana or Ethereum. For example, Ethereum, their goal is a world's computer. So it's a smart contract, is basically like a script language based, like a Turing complete EVM. That by design make it way much harder to achieve very high performance TPS, right? Solana is the same thing. Solana try to be a general purpose blockchain as Ethereum does, right? It does have a lot of trade-offs and have a lot of innovations. Even though a lot of people trashed Solana, but I did careful research on Solana. I kind of from a computer science point of view and from an engineering point of view, I think they made good choice on the trade-offs, because they need high performance. They have to kind of trade off a few things. But both of them have the more ambitious goal on the blockchain side, which want to be a general purpose blockchain. However, ArcBlock make different decisions, because ArcBlock's major goal is a new type of a cloud computing platform. That is a platform to power software, power applications. The blockchain is only one small piece of part. It's basically like a nervous system of the whole new cloud computing system. The main focus is on the billing side, is on the operation support side, right? So the main focus of our blockchain is not a general purpose smart contract, general purpose computational blockchain. So that makes us, by design, it's easier for us to scale. So that's kind of different. So if you look at different blockchains, everybody are created differently. People have different goals. Like Bitcoin by design is not going to be fast, because it is not only because it's the first blockchain, it's also because it has a design. If you want to have this kind of a money transfer system, you want it fast, you want to be kind of accurate, correct, and very hard to attack, but you don't really need that be that fast, right? So so that's how, because our blockchain is aimed to design for a better billing system. So we have to be high performance, right? Imagine you have a computer, you have Blockly up and running, and the billing is based on there's thousands and tens of thousands of different nodes. That is in tons of many people are buying different resources, and you have many partners that need to have those kind of resource exchanged. You definitely need to be a very high performance. Otherwise, your billing, okay, so the cloud is fast, but the billing doesn't work. That's not going to work, right? So in the beginning, when ArcBlock started, I was expecting that we're not building any blockchain by ourselves. So we just want to use Ethereum, even though at that time Ethereum was very slow. But I kind of believe that, okay, Ethereum is going to eventually going to fine tune and become way much faster. So in the beginning, we didn't plan to have our own blockchain. So that's how we have the ABT, the ERC20, and for a very long time. And there's always people constantly asking, hey, when mainnet? At that time, I explained, so no, there's no mainnet in the first few years. I said, no, there is no mainnet. We're just waiting for Ethereum, because we need time to build the computational layers, and the Ethereum going to go. It's eventually going to be faster and be more useful. But unfortunately, things are changing. We didn't see Ethereum go toward that direction to be the world computer. They're more kind of linked to the DeFi world. So that's the sense. When I went to the Ethereum DevCon in Osaka, I found, they kind of are more focused on the DeFi now. If they're focused on DeFi, that basically means the TPS, the scalability probably no longer be the top priority for them. So that is a time when we say, hey, we need to have our own blockchain. That is not that general purpose, but is solely focused on the performance of the nervous system, central nervous system of a cloud computing infrastructure. So that's how it comes.
Is your mainnet live now? Because when I look at
it's of course your NFT or your NFTs or the ABT, they're on the mainnet.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I was like, okay, because I remember. All right, so the mainnet's already live. This was you were talking about way back when.
That's like 3 years ago, right?
Now, what is the TPS now, and what do you think the TPS will be later on in the future based on the use case? Because I like how you were saying, because there is a trade-off. Different platforms don't need the TPS to be a certain level based on whatever utility they're actually being used for. Yours is going to be for payments. What do you have an idea of where you're going to go, or where are you at now, and what's the goal for the future?
So right now we have around like 3,000 TPS per second. And also the TPS is not equal by different TX transactions. There's many different transactions. Like a system like ArcBlock, we are a blockchain that is designed to have a rich set of the transactions, right? So rich set of the transactions, and compared to Ethereum, for example, Ethereum, if you look at the Ethereum transactions, it's very limited. There are only a few of the type of the transactions. However, Ethereum has a smart contract, which means even that transactions is just like calling the smart contract, because the smart contract is like infinite kind of expansible, right? So that makes even it with a limited set of the transactions, it can do a lot of things, right? So our block design is called a rich set of the transactions. We have many different type of transactions. For example, NFT has a set of transactions like the asset factory. You can see if you go to the ArcBlock's block explorer, you can see there's like 30 different transactions. When we kind of have new updates, the transactions could be increased. But that is kind of like a different design choices. So with this kind of rich set of the transactions, that could be make us easier to for the optimizations. So right now we are pretty confident, right? Even at this moment for the 3,000 TPS, this is not the limitation of the 3,000 TPS is basically by need. At this moment, the whole ecosystem is not that take off yet. We don't need 1 million, right? We don't need 10,000. We don't need a million because it's just this much. Like imagine like the whole system is imagine this is like the blockchain is like the traffic, like a highway, right?
Interesting.
If you are right now, you're just a small town, right? You don't need like a I-90 like with like 6 different interstate highways. If you're building this, is wasting resource, right? All you need is just like a 2-lane highway. But you plan ahead, right? You plan ahead. You know that okay, when the town is become bigger, and we're going to expand that, right? And then when you build multiple different cities, you have this plan ahead, and then that eventually going to get you a much higher TPS, right?
That's awesome. So like basically you have
a lot of sense.
Based on the size of how like from ArcBlock from where it's at now and going into the future, you can actually fluctuate the TPS accordingly to what it's going to need. Because, I actually noticed whenever I'm playing with ABT mainnet, when I'm sending things, it's fast, like super fast.
Yeah.
It's completely different versus like whenever I send ABT as an ERC20, it could be, it's still quick, but it's still lag a little bit. But when it's an ABT mainnet, it's like wild fast. Like I remember when I was sending ABT to Deadpunk because of the odd dragons, or I was sending an NFT to Byte Storage, literally by the moment I clicked the button, they had it. It was done. That's how fast it was. So I was very impressed with that. And I do know what you're talking about, because like I remember when I was researching Polkadot way back in the day, they have their TPS is 1,000, and they plan to make it bigger later on in the future, what have you. But they don't really need to, because they have like parachains and all this other stuff that could make it like they could be faster if need be or something like that. But
again, Polkadot is even harder because they're building that infrastructure that need to be the interchain connectivities, which make them just harder to achieve by design, because they have more ambitious goals, and different blockchains are different kind of focus, what kind of problem they want to solve, right? So another thing I think for the TPS is actually it's not that magic. It's very easy to calculate. Imagine, for example, if you want to, imagine like the TPS is transaction per second, right? So for every minute, there's 60 seconds, right? So so every hours have 36,000 seconds, right? And then we only have 24 hours. And then imagine if you a day, if your blockchain system a day, if you have 1 million transactions per day, and then you can do the simple math to find how many TPS you want. Of course, those kind of transactions are not coming in. They have the peaks. They have it's basically like a wave, right? So your system has to sustain that like the peak. And just by just imagine that, right? If you have like 1 million transaction per day, is not average every hours, every second you have that. You have some hours it's a peak, so it's kind of like it's basically like just to use the highway system, right? The highway, it had that kind of it has those lanes, but sometimes you have traffic. Sometimes it's pretty empty, right? But to feel for the user to feel that. You just need to find the peak time. Once your TPS is big enough to ensure you no longer have this kind of peak time traffic moments, and then your traffic system is good, right? You don't need to build a traffic. You don't need to kind of spend a lot of money build it like a super, highway, and but it's always empty, right? That is not efficient. That is also not kind of good. So based on that, right? So don't kind of blindly looking for any blockchain's TPS numbers. Just looking on what do you actually need, right? So the user experience is the most important thing we need to kind of considering. We just want everybody, whenever they want to buy something, whenever they want to send an NFT, they want to send the tokens, you just feel instance. That's good.
To be honest with you, I mean, and everyone, of course, this is not financial advice. You guys make your own bets and all that stuff. You do your own research. To be honest with you, the more and more I hear you talk about, like, the way it's set up and where it can go, it just reminds me of unsaturated territory, because you're not going to build, like you say, an ultra highway if there's not a lot of activity just yet. You want to build it accordingly for user interface. Like if the users need this much output, then that's what you'll calculate the output. The fact that you can actually fluctuate those TPSs based on what ArcBlock needs is actually more impressive to me, because now I kind of wonder in my mind, like, okay, well, I wonder how scalable ArcBlock could really be once it actually starts growing, because this year you're going to be focusing on ecosystem expansion, which means that's going to be more and more transactions with NFTs, with different projects, all these different things. And it's awesome, to be here this early. And that's what I really wanted, whenever, when I first got into the crypto sector, I always ran to anything that was over the top, like already saturated. A lot of people already knew about it, stuff like that. And, whenever you want to actually make an impact, or you want to be in the right place to experience the growth and see the expansion happen, you have to go to new and emerging markets. And that's what I see ArcBlock as. There's not a lot of companies that are real Web3. And ArcBlock is literally, I mean, there's really not that many real Web3 companies out there. There is some, but, not to this level, I don't feel personally.
Yeah, I would say there's not really that many. And even though there might be, I've yet to come across any that are like already so developed to where I can do something with it, or the consumer or the average person can do something with it. And I just wanted to mention, it seems like, everyone in the crypto space is always comparing blockchains. What can your blockchain do? Well, my blockchain's better, and so forth. And that's what intrigued me about ArcBlock, is that it almost was trying to get past that. It's like, yes, you're going to want to use the blockchain for specific things, but we're not creating a general blockchain. We're creating a general platform to kind of really hit the application end of things, because I think that's where most of the value is contained, in ideas, in applications, and things that people are going to use, because you don't really even need to use the transactions unless there's an application that's enticing you to want to use it. You know what I mean? So I think that's what was really cool about ArcBlock, is their drive to push something that most of the ecosystem at large could care less about. And we're still just, how fast is your blockchain? Well, mine's faster, this, and that. But in regards to the ecosystem, I just wanted to add or ask, is there any goals within the expansion of the ecosystem to try to, in this year or next year, to try to create chain adapters for other blockchains? Because I've noticed that the chain adapters, I guess, are the ways in which ArcBlock is going to be able to connect to other blockchains and other blockchains to ArcBlock. So is there any chain adapters in mind? And if not, when do you think it would be appropriate to start looking at chain adapters? I mean, really, ArcBlock in and of itself is so beautiful, but I know that a lot of people are very prideful and you could say maximalist. They only want to do something if it's on their blockchain. And that's what I was curious about.
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So my thinking on the chain adapters is also kind of this is also kind of like a learning curve. It has been changed and evolving since inception, right? When we first started ArcBlock, as I mentioned, that we do not want to create any blockchain ourselves. We just want to have this open chain access protocol that is basically like a mid-tier layers for the developer to decide to use any blockchain, no matter if the Ethereum. It's at that time we're looking at the Hyperledger because we think the enterprise use case might own the Hyperledgers, right? Or even Bitcoin to have the payment. So that's on the very beginning of that part, right? So in our white paper at that phase, the V1 white paper, we still kind of focus quite a bit on the imagine there's a wave, there's a chain adapter marketplace that a lot of people are going to create these chain adapters. But the thing has been changing, and thing has been changing quite a bit. So now I'm kind of thinking, so there's still going to be some chain adapters. So for example, some of the adapters that we create ourselves, mostly for the Ethereum community, right? So there's something has been changed, like in the last 2 years, a lot of blockchain just becoming Ethereum compatible and or become the layer 2 of the Ethereum. So that makes things way much easier, because in the past you have 10 different blockchains. Each of the blockchains speak different language, different protocols, right? But with everybody now compatible with Ethereum, that base means you have one like Ethereum protocol, chain adapters. You're going to talk to any of those blockchain that is compatible with Ethereum, right? For example, right, the Coinbase just announced that they're going to have the base layer 2 blockchain. So right now it's on beta, and they're going to announce something later, right? So there's no banner, as I said, there's no banner. We're going to support Coinbase base chain. First of all, it's pretty easy for us. It's we just need to test. Because it's Ethereum compatible, we probably just need to test, deploy a few things, and then it's going to just work, right? Mm-hmm. The second, I think it's a brilliant move for Coinbase to have a layer 2 base. First of all, it's going to be faster. Nobody likes, I never see anything that is slow, anything slow that could eventually win the market, right? True. So even though Ethereum has a very good kind of ecosystem, but it's still way too slow. I think the Coinbase make that faster with layer 2 is great. Another thing I really liked and respected Coinbase is that they didn't build another blockchain just like a BNB, like Binance, have a forked Ethereum to create a BNB, because that the BNB is Ethereum kind of compatible, but it's not kind of exactly helping the Ethereum ecosystem. But Coinbase decided to have this layer 2, which is a kind of an ecosystem, natural ecosystem of Ethereum. So that is not kind of splitting the Ethereum's splitting or kind of move away things from the Ethereum ecosystem. Instead, it's kind of increasing that, right? So we're going to join force with that, and hopefully when the base become production, and anything that you play right now, you have those NFTs on ArcBlock is going to also live on the base blockchain. We didn't be kind of too much kind of a push forward to move that to the Ethereum. It's just because, okay, the user experience is not going to compare, right? So if you create those NFTs on Ethereum, you might be able to sell on the OpenSea for more expensive, make more money. but the user experience is going to be sucks, right? So we do not want to doing that. We want to waiting for Ethereum, either Ethereum become really fast, or an eco partner that builds something on Ethereum that is lightning fast. So now I see a light, which is kind of Coinbase is building that. If that is ready, and all the NFTs right now on ArcBlock blockchain going to be able freely move to the Ethereum world through those layer 2s. So that's going to be open up a whole new opportunity and a great experience for the end users.
Is that where the ERC 721 like DID will take effect in a way, or is that something else entirely?
Yes, we are going to have that ERC 721 DIT, which is a fully 100% compatible protocol with the ERC 721, and also going to confront the DIT. So that's going to be a cool protocol.
Sick.
Man, I think this is probably one of the most jam-packed, data-filled videos we've ever done with ArcBlock. I'll be really honest with you guys. Let's cut this one short. We're about an hour in. You know what's funny? I still wanted to talk to you about revenue splits and how because
let's make it the next one. We should stay on time.
we'll do it on the next one. We definitely want to go deeper dive into the payment systems for ArcBlock. I know that's more along the lines of your biggest expertise, especially considering your background. So, guys, I appreciate both of you coming on to talk with this crabby guy right now.
It's an honor.
Share this type of data. But, let's cut this one short. I appreciate everyone coming. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you guys haven't found ArcBlock, ArcBlock.io, you could find them also on Twitter. Don't forget to, if you want to learn how to utilize Blocklet or create your own websites, all those different things, the Force Society has an amazing YouTube channel that goes through tutorials. I highly recommend it. Very awesome. And I will catch you guys on the next one. All right. Let me kind of get this one rolling here.
Later, guys. See you, Rob.